Bada bing, bada.
Hi.
Did I do it right
Hello.
this time?
We got it.
We
Take
did it,
2.
guys.
Second time's the charm.
Woo! Thank you for being here with us.
Hello. Um,
We are, I am a hot mess today, so anyone listening, good luck to you. Just a little
good
forewarning.
good luck on your journey.
Yes, you will be aboard the Hot Mess Express with me. I am your conductor, Amber. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, we're recording a bit later than usual.
Yes,
Which
and
is it just feels funny. I don't know
it
why.
does. The coffee has had time to wear off, and also I feel like we always check in where my coffee situation is at because you always note that I've already gone out for coffee.
Yes.
Um,
Which I notice you have.
I did, but I can't. It's what time is it even? I haven't drank this puppy.
It's
What am
like
I
noon
doing?
30.
30 and still trying to get this drank. Well,
That's a sure sign of a hot mess express. I feel like if you haven't had time to consume your coffee, something is awry.
and it's the day before a holiday.
Mhm.
So, of course, I have last minute things to do. That's just how it works.
Mhm.
Them's just the rules,
Yes,
okay?
I still have those last minute things to do as
I've got
well.
to Instacart some stuff. I'm so mad.
Are you having Easter at your house?
No, I am so grateful that we're having it at my mother-in-law's house because they have a pool and I just love I'm just gonna float all day,
Heck yeah,
you
that
know,
sounds
just
lovely.
it's gonna be great. And I feel like it's just with all four of the grandsons, it's their house is bigger, so it's just
Mhm.
easier with all
Yes.
of us in there. But I'm very excited to spend another holiday with um, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and their kids. That they came for Thanksgiving too this year, so I feel so spoiled that they're also here for Easter.
Heck yeah.
It's great. Love it.
Nice.
Yeah. What are you guys doing for Easter?
I think we're just gonna go over to my mom's.
Nice. I love your
She
moms.
yes,
That
and
was
she's
something
always
nice.
yeah, right. 3rd time.
Just buttering her up.
Yeah, she always ever since we've gotten this house, which has not been very long, she's been very pushy about us hosting
Yeah.
the holidays. But we've gotten away with one more, and we don't have to this time. So
It's a lot of work. And yeah, way
Brian
too
wants
much.
to, and I want nothing to do with it. And I could just see that if it did happen, Brian would be the one being able to just hang out at our house, drinking twisted teas and enjoying the day.
Yeah.
And I would be running around like a chicken with its head cut off. So
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel like as a mom, it I am not happy to share this information with you. The holidays are not as enjoyable once you're a mom because you are the one who has to make it magical. And so
yeah.
you're like, this is actually not magical at all. Did you know? This fucking sucks.
How am I supposed to explain to him where the Easter bunny came from at some point?
Well,
Like,
luckily this year I don't think you have to worry about it. So you have some
I,
time to plan.
that's true. That's true. But like,
um and I'm Easter is not I don't care about Easter, okay?
mhm.
It's not I'm not religious. There's no he he has risen. Nope, that means nothing to me.
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
I just like
But
it for the family time. So, gosh, I always get so confused about like how many episodes ago something was. In one of the last couple of episodes, the one I
somewhere.
the one I'm editing today, so probably like 2 episodes ago,
Mhm.
I said ocean when I was talking about Sheena. I've moved on to updates, by the way.
If you didn't know, the train has moved on to its next
Yeah,
stop.
here we are at updates. I said ocean, and I should have said summer moon. What is
Oh,
wrong with me? How could I possibly mix those 2 up?
I did catch that, but I knew what you meant.
Right, yeah.
Like because it's, you know,
I just figured I'd, sort that out for clarity's sake. Um, we have less than 30 days until the Tortured Poets Department, and it's
Man,
coming. It's gonna hit
that's
us.
real.
Yeah. I
Where
know.
did
I was
March
like,
go, by the way? Just
see ya.
anybody can answer that. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd appreciate the answer as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I've lived 8 lives,
And there she goes. Yeah.
and also it went by so fast. So I don't know what that means, but what's going on with the moon?
Oh, actually, I think some wild things, but that's all the information I have on it.
That's all you need to know.
I think there's
Okay.
some kind of lunar eclipse coming up because that's like Swiftie related to. People are tying like the
Hmm.
next album release and maybe something else coming like at the lunar eclipse, which is coming out. And people are saying she's always, or she has released some albums near lunar eclipses before, which just sounds funny to me. Like, how often is there a lunar
You
eclipse? Like,
know,
what is the likelihood? It could be high.
I do think there's something to it though, because in my line of work, I've experienced this a couple of times actually, where people want to schedule their new website going live during, like, one client specifically asked, um, I do not want my website to go live during Mercury retrograde. And she like listed out when that was going to happen. And she was like, so it either has to be before or after, like she's
Oh
very
my
specifically.
goodness.
Yes. And we had some other clients who had a similar request, like same thing.
This next one, it kind of falls into what's going on more so than updates because it's not really an update from a previous episode. So Train's gonna just pop ahead to what's going on.
Derailing.
Yep.
That's fine. This is
Now,
fine.
so we'll pop over there. Olivia Rodrigo has new songs out. Have you heard them?
Oh, no. Did she put
Yes.
out a new album?
So it's like, you know how we got like the 3 a.m. version of Midnights?
Yes.
Where we got like 6 extra songs. It's like that.
Yeah.
So it's still
Oh,
Guts.
okay.
It's
Gotcha.
called Guts Spilled, and we got like 6 new
That's
songs.
cute. Whoa, 6.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'll listen to it today. You
Yeah, I've
liked
gone through
them?
like half of them, and they're
Do
good.
we have a favorite yet?
No, I wanna hear them all, but they're all pretty good so far.
Okay.
What was the one I heard most recently I liked? Scared of My Guitar. It's kind of like country-ish.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
But like emo country. Well, I guess that's country.
Intrigued.
Um, so yeah, that's
Emo
exciting.
country, I guess that's country.
Country's pretty emo, right?
It is.
It's
I
very
mean,
sad stories
like
usually.
my wife left me, she took the dog, like, yeah.
Yeah, and then she came back, but like died. It's always it's always very
Ooh,
sad.
it is, yeah. Whiskey
So
Lullaby specifically comes to
oh my
mind.
gosh, such a good song.
So good,
I
but like, why were we listening to that when we were, 12?
Yeah,
I'm
that's a good
assuming.
point.
Oof, didn't age well.
I still listen to it very often, actually. It's on a
I think
playlist
about
of mine.
our childhood at times, I think, was a little unhinged. Like I told you that I have been rewatching the OC, right?
I don't think you mentioned that. We talked about the OC a little bit. I don't think you said you're
That
rewatching it.
that's what like kicked it. I was like, I should
Okay.
rewatch that, and it's all on Hulu, so
Yeah.
hell yeah. And I forgot how much like hard drugs are in the show, like Marissa doing cocaine, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
the amount of like gun violence,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think shows put out for like young teenagers today, correct me if I'm wrong,
And for
are
good reason.
quite like that. So, because I was thinking, like, would I let my son watch this? Because he's around the age I was when that came out. And would I let him watch this? I'm like, I don't know. There's like a ton of shit like that that's like, this isn't what high school, nobody, come on. People aren't over here doing cocaine and getting shot, and I mean they are, that stuff happens, but like
My
it's not
school was not.
Euphoria high, you know
Mhm.
like it's kind of, I don't know.
Those shows were much more dramatic than school actually was during that time,
Yeah,
for
which I
sure.
mean it had to be because
It's a
That
TV
was the
show.
point. It's a TV show. It's a drama.
Yeah.
It's supposed to
But
be
yeah, it
dramatic.
is like
But it's like a little unhinged.
it's kind of dark
For daytime television, like
aimed at children, like
yeah.
teenagers. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Mhm.
I thought it was a little intense for
So where
how
did
young
you
we
land?
were.
Would you let him watch it?
Probably, I would just have a very open
Yeah.
conversation with it. I don't think he'd be super into it. After I
Yeah.
started rewatching it, just doesn't seem like something he would want to watch, but
Yeah.
I would just have to be like, this is a really, really drummed up version of what it's
For
actually like.
TV.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. That one is tough.
And it came on
It's
like ABC or like one of
yeah.
those channels, you know? Like it
Yeah.
was basically daytime television,
Like
but at 8
NBC.
p.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's so bizarre. I think it was one of those shows where it was about teenagers, but like it was for adults.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Or
line is confusing. Like, why would adults? I don't know.
yes.
I'm an adult and I'm watching it, so
But because it was kind of adultish.
correct.
But like, and I feel like at the time, now kids are more taught to like hold on to their childhood, but at the time, like television, like content creators, I don't know what to call them,
Mhm.
television
People, the
producers and stuff
writers and
knew that
producers,
that's
yeah.
what kids wanted and just like played into it because we, at the time just wanted to be adults. We thought we
Right.
were practically adults, and we were far from it.
No, I think instead of getting my son into rewatching the OC, I am going to start doing a weekly movie night where we have to watch a different Disney Channel original movie.
That sounds fun.
Because
Yeah.
there's so many good ones. You could name any person that you know could name 10 that they would easily sit down and watch. Number 1 is Xenon, and
Yes.
there's just no other answer than that. But there's so many other good ones. Johnny
Number 2 is
Tsunami.
the second Xenon. I actually just watched Johnny Tsunami
That's
with
awesome.
Brian like recently since we moved into the
Brink.
house.
Smart
Oh
House.
yeah, Smart House I've watched kind of recently too.
The 13th Year.
I
The
don't know
one where
that one.
he's a merman. Okay, so
Nope.
it's the same actor who is in Smart House, the brunette kid. He is in the 13th Year, and when he turns 13, he's like becomes a merman or whatever.
Huh.
I
Okay.
want to watch that one.
Okay.
There's also one that I remember. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe you will. It was a little on the like scarier side. It was like there were monsters under the bed. That might even be the name, honestly. Like boogeyman type things
That sounds
under the
familiar,
bed.
but I can't
I just remember a character
place
with long
it.
nails.
Yeah. Oh my
bed.
god, that sounds familiar. But it wasn't called Monsters Under the Bed. It may have been.
Maybe we're gonna have to get to Googling.
There was the bowling one, Alley Catch Strike or something.
Oh yeah.
That one was really good. We rewatched that recently, and it's got what's her name from Big Bang Theory? Kawoko. Kaylee Kawoko or something?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say her name right?
I think so.
Kaylee. Okay.
Kaylee
Kuoku. Okay.
Don't look under the bed.
Don't. Oh yeah.
Yes, and yeah, if you can't really see that, but you can kind of see the creepy hand.
Yeah. No, I can't. So I'm just like nervous about all of that stuff now since all the Nickelodeon stuff coming out.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like any of like the kid stuff. I hope we don't start hearing stuff about Disney.
That would be heartbreaking.
I know.
I'm not even a huge Disney fan, but that would be just awful. I have got to stop saying the word like. I hate listening to our recordings because of how many times I say like.
Does it bother you?
It does bother me. I am an intelligent woman. There is no reason for me to say like every other word. I sound like I'm 16. I used it appropriately
You
just
did.
then.
Yes.
That's not the same. Also, I found it seems like I'm using it more when I'm describing what happens in the books that I've been reading.
It
is hard to explain. I'm struggling to not say it right now. You see it, right?
Yes.
You can feel it.
I can't.
It's because I'm intentionally focused. Like, don't see?
So
I
one of
will stop saying it. I will.
I
Or
don't
how
know.
about this, listeners? If I say like, then we can just turn it into a drinking game. How
Yeah,
about
take
that?
a
Maybe you
drink
guys should start listening to this.
for the late night listeners.
There you go.
Hmm
Mm-hmm.
The third
What were you gonna say?
shifters. Um. Oh, I was just gonna say I kind of like that about podcasts that like now I'm hearing myself say it.
I'm so sorry. I should not have pointed it out while we were recording. That was a bad decision on my part. But the Hot Mess Express must go on.
I like that there's like a more natural flow with podcasting, and that you hear people say like and like
Yeah.
and I don't know, it just feels like more casual and like conversational, and I've always kind of liked that.
I also compare it to when I'm doing client meetings, and I did
Hmm
a bunch of those this week, and I also really try hard to sound professional when I'm on a meeting. Um,
That makes sense, yeah.
and I find it hard. I find words to be really hard. Like describing things to other people is very difficult to me. So
Yes.
I'm gonna say like, unfortunately, but we're gonna try to cut back. Okay. We're
Oh,
gonna give ourselves a little grace.
I
Just a
have
little though.
talking about like communicating. I actually have an update. I must have forgotten to put it on the list, but I made a hair appointment.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
So I cut my bangs yesterday, and I did a good job. They looked
Okay,
really cute.
I thought I missed a picture or something in the girl gang snap because somebody said
Uh,
something about curtain bangs, and I was like, "Who got curtain bangs? Why didn't I see them?"
I think
Oh,
these are what Show was talking about.
I like those.
Yeah, they came out cute, so I got confident. And I started like searching on TikTok like tutorials for how to go from long to short hair at home, like how to cut it yourself.
Oh,
And I said, "You know what? You got to make that appointment right now, girl, cuz if
good
you
for
don't
you.
make that appointment
Good for
right
you. You're
now,
like, this is a slippery slope.
this is a
I am
sign."
aware that this is slippery.
You got to know when to reach out for help.
So, are you
Um
gonna cut it short?
I really like yesterday I had decided, like I was set in it,
Yeah,
and today I curled my hair, and it's actually looking like really cute with these little bangs now,
it looks very cute.
and I'm like, I don't know, do I want to cut it? So I'm back on the fence.
That always happens to me when I decide to cut my hair short.
Does
I
it?
have the perfect hair day, and then I'm angry for weeks that I cut my hair,
Oh
and then I
no.
love it. Like
Okay.
it's always a rough start for me. Just
Okay.
total
I
transparency.
keep trying to
But
kind of picture it like fold
I
it
think it
behind
would look
my
so good. And
shoulder
it's
to
hair, so it grows.
mine doesn't grow very fast though,
Really?
so yeah,
I feel
there
like
is
yours does, but I don't.
trying to kind of
I
like
have I'm telling you, your hair grows fast as if it's my own. Like it does. You don't.
I don't know.
Yes. And with
Okay.
I feel like your curls would be,
They're gonna be
s-
more puffy,
yes,
like
like you're gonna have volume. I think it would look so cute. I, my only concern for you is when you go in the field, how you could do like little low buns though,
yeah,
like
and I'll
two
have to
little
use a
ones.
lot of clippies, which I'm kind of having to do that now with the
I I
bangs.
I have to do that when I am on a not hair wash day and my bangs start to, like, the first few
Mhm.
days of washing my hair, my bangs are great, but then
Mhm.
after like 2 or 3 days, not great.
Yeah, which makes
Um,
sense.
so I've gotten very used to just like twisting them back and bobby pinning them. I don't think that's
Mhm.
as annoying. And it kind of like is nice to switch it up with a different,
Yeah.
when you're used to having all that in your face and you can just pin it back.
Mhm. Mhm. We are really kind of bopping all around today.
I know. I
I'm like, where are we even at on this? Oh, I did put it on the list. Cut my hair again. Oh
You
no.
did.
That was actually talking about when I cut my hair again. But I am going to go get it cut.
It was a multi-purpose bullet
Yes.
point. You just
Mhm.
didn't know
Mhm.
it when you wrote it.
Mhm.
That's hilarious. What else is going on this week? We took our kids to Busch Gardens with their cousins and grandparents, and it was so much fun. I
Heck
did
yeah.
not realize that there were freaking giraffes and zebras just walking around at Busch Gardens. And we sat down to have lunch outside on like a big porch basically. And I didn't realize, again, still didn't realize there were animals over there. And I looked out and I'm like, that's a fucking giraffe. That's weird. That's weird to just see. Um, it was very wholesome and cute.
Yeah.
So our kids range from my oldest is 14, then my youngest is 10, their oldest is 9, and their youngest is 6, I think. So like it's kind of a big
Big
range
range. Yeah.
of ages. And so we got there, we immediately went on a ride. It was a 90-minute wait, um, which was intense with 4 kids. They were not thrilled. And it's
Oh
one of
my
those
gosh.
rides where you're never really sure where you're at in the line because you're just in this weird tunnel type thing and you just keep turning the corner and you're in another dark hallway. And so it was really
Right.
long. And then we get on the ride and all the kids are freaking out. What's up?
I just have a question. So, like, what is the likelihood when you have that many kids with you that you actually make it to the end of the line before one of them has to pee?
We did. We made it.
Like, do you make it, or like, are you expecting when you walk into that line that you're gonna have to walk out before riding the ride?
Nobody's walking out of that line if I'm if I'm in charge, okay? Like my kids are like, "Mm-mm." We went before we got on that ride.
Smart.
I know better than that. I feel like at this point. Um, so that's a good point though. I would love to know what the numbers are there.
I was just curious because
What
I'm,
are the percentages? I mean,
yeah, trying to mentally prep for my future Disney days with my
yeah,
kiddo.
it's just you go before you go on the ride.
Okay,
Because
every ride.
I personally did not look at the thing that told you how long the wait was. I just
Oh,
walked,
big
right?
mistake.
Everybody else was like towards the end they were like, "You didn't see the thing that said 90 minutes?" I'm like, Nobody was going to share that information." They're like, "You walked right by it." Okay. But we get on the ride and all the younger ones, all 3 of the younger ones are looking a little nervous. Okay. They're like, we couldn't really see the ride when we were in line. Now we can see
Right.
it and we're unsure. But we're already on. And I'm in the very front with my brother-in-law. My oldest and their oldest is behind me. And then my youngest is in the way back with my mother-in-law. So I couldn't hear him when we got on the ride. I could only hear like the 2 behind us. And they were nervous, but they were more excited than anything else.
Is this like a
And
roller coaster or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And um it's one of those that it goes forward for a second and then it just starts pulling you upwards and you just slowly start to see how high up you're going.
Oh,
And I
hell
guess
no.
my youngest as that's happening is like, "Why did
Mm.
I decide to go on this ride? I am rethinking this." And he's with my mother-in-law and she's so sweet. She's trying to comfort him. And I didn't hear any of this. I'm in the very front like, we're doing this. Um
I can just hear him in, like, his sweet little voice too, like, not it's probably not coming out like he's panicked, but, like, inside he is panicking.
he's definitely panicking. And so even the adults, we didn't really even get that good of a look at the ride. We just saw that all of our kids were tall enough to go on it. So we just went for it. So even we were a little surprised at like this roller coaster. It wasn't a super intense one, but it was enough that we knew somebody was going to be upset at the end. Um, but at the end, we're coming back. We're like, we just finished coming down like the huge hill and I just hear my youngest in his high pitched, adorable voice, like, "That was awesome! Let's do it again!"
I
And
love
it
that.
was, I just like, oh my God, my heart felt so good. It was hilarious. Just kids getting excited about stuff like that. I don't know. It's so cute.
Mhm.
And then we did have the like initial shock when we got off. Like that was intense. But all the kids, they did great and they had fun, but I think it surprised them. And then they didn't want to go on. Only my oldest wanted to keep going on rides. So we did the safari ride, like train ride thing.
Mhm.
They were like, "How fast is this?" We're like,
It's like a whole ass train that pulls up.
yes, it is. We're like, it's gonna go 65 miles per hour like the cheetahs. So you have to hold on. They're like, there's no doors. Oh my
Oh my
gosh. So
gosh.
it was wholesome. It was cute. We had a great time. And
Heck
the weather was gorgeous. It was
oh,
peak
heck
Florida
yeah.
weather. So them coming from Maryland, they were really, it was rainy when we first got there, but it like dispersed really quickly. So
We should say peak nice Florida weather.
correct. The distinction must be made because pretty soon, and it's already getting there, it's just going to be hotter than balls and we're all going to be grumpy.
Yes, pretty much if you're native to this area, you know that we just do not go outdoors once we get into wet May. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to for work, but I draw the line at that.
Yeah. That's why I'm so grateful. I started that beach tradition with my kids last summer where we got up before the sun and went for the
Mm-hmm.
sunrise because it's honestly the only pleasant time to be at the beach during the summer.
It
I
really
can't
is.
go in the middle of the day.
No,
So if you want to go to the beach with me in the summer, we're going at 5 a.m.
no, I'll see you in the winter.
Yep, there we go.
No, thank you.
There we go. As long as we're clear.
Also, like, I think the ocean last year was like 96 degrees or something last summer. Like,
Gross.
that is so disgusting. Can you imagine like someone from Europe like coming here and getting in the ocean? Because
No.
their ocean is freezing and they're
It's
used
so
to that.
cold.
Yeah.
It's so cold. And even when it's 90 degrees out, it's freezing. It's
Yeah.
mm-mm.
No. Mm-mm.
No thanks. No thanks.
So Beverly Hills. We're bopping around again.
Be bopping.
um Beverly Hills Housewives. I'm now on season 11. There are 13 seasons. I'm getting real close to being current.
Nice.
We've gotten
Go
past
girl.
COVID, so we're very recent. So last season, Brandy Glanville came out and said that one of the married housewives was having an affair with her. You know, you're aware of who Brandy Glanville is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she said Denise Richards is having an affair with her. And Denise Richards, it was like recently married at that time. So, yeah, that was interesting. I did not see that coming.
Yeah,
TikTok
that's
didn't let me know this was coming at all.
wow, guys, way to let a sister down.
So yeah, that was just interesting. So kind of working through that.
I can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, Denise is denying it, but as much as Brandy is wild, we just haven't really known her to be a liar.
Yeah, what does she gain from lying about that?
Right. Well, if she's trying to get back at Denise, maybe like messing things up for Denise, but I don't think Brandy's a lot of things, but I just don't really think she's a liar. I don't know. So
Interesting.
that was interesting, yeah.
Keep us updated.
Will do. Summer House. I did not realize Summer House was airing. So I literally checked this like a few weeks ago because I was like, I thought I remember seeing something about like the premiere.
Mm-hmm.
And I checked it a couple weeks ago and I thought I was like looking at the old seasons. But anyways, I went back and looked at it last night and it is actually airing. So you saw the last season, some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Carl and Lindsay had gotten engaged.
Yes.
They are splitting up, it appears.
Yeah.
This season. We're kind of starting out right there. Are any of us surprised? No.
No.
their
I
whole
just thought we all
relationship.
knew. Excuse me.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Who is
Hello.
she?
Hmm. I just thought we all knew that relationship was doomed
Yes.
the second it started,
Yes. It has
unfortunately.
been so odd the entire time through, which I mean everything Lindsay is a part of.
Hmm.
It just kind of goes that way, very just odd. She's just an
Yeah.
odd girl. Um
Strange one. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, sometimes just like priorities aren't kind of laid out correctly as far as like social interactions, I feel like.
It's a
Um
nice way to put it.
Thanks.
Very diplomatic.
um so they're splitting up, and then Danielle and Robert broke up too. And they've been together for a long time. Danielle was like on the first couple seasons, and then she's just kind of been in and out, I think, since then. It seems like she's an actual castmate again. Is
Yeah.
that the right word? Castmate? I have no idea.
I think
Um,
so.
okay. The coffee is hitting, man. I feel like I'm talking like a
A
million
mile a
miles a
minute.
minute. Um, so yeah, so they also broke up, and I don't know, Daniel went to some like party and he was there with his new girlfriend, and then I fell asleep. So that's all I got for Summer House at the moment,
Cool, cool,
but
cool.
I'll keep
Cool, cool, cool.
updating, and I'm sure I'll like catch up on that probably this week, and then it'll be like new episodes after that.
Hello.
Vanderpump. What is going on with Ariana and Anne? Is she gonna save Anne? I can't tell.
Hashtag please save Anne.
Please save
Somebody
Anne.
save Anne. I think that's the main thing I'm interested in
This is the story
this
arc.
season. Yeah. What's going on with Anne? What's our Anne situation? Somebody
I
get
love her.
her a good boss, a 401k, like the works.
And was
Okay.
she getting dressed? Was Anne getting dressed to go to the Eras tour this time? She was doing it was Barbie first, like an episode or two ago,
Yeah.
right? And then was she getting ready for the Eras tour this time?
Correct. Yeah, she was.
Lala and Schwartz. Oh, they're like little juicy. Schwartz. Why did he bring that up out of nowhere from 12 years ago? Making out with Sheena. Is he nervous that this is going to come out of the woodwork?
Probably. I feel like he was covering his ass and
Mm-hmm.
he
I
did
think
it
so
in the
too.
most cowardly way instead of just going straight to Katie and saying,
Yeah.
maybe you should know this thing that happened
He just kind of like dropped
12
that
years ago.
bomb
Yeah,
on
as if
Lala.
Lala's not gonna go back and tell Katie.
Yeah.
Really?
And he
Mm-mm.
knew.
He
Yeah,
did.
he did that on purpose. He's covering his ass, I think.
But are we surprised? Sheena has always kind of moved in mysterious ways.
Mhm.
I often don't understand what she's doing. So I think this is kind of, and we know that Schwartz was already a piece of shit
Right.
back then to
And
Katie.
then Sheena said right after she got engaged to Shay or something.
I know. That was the part that kind of got me like, wow, whoa.
I feel like we really just kind of skipped on by that part. I know
Yeah.
she's not with him anymore, but like
It's also
interesting.
the foundation of her and Katie's friendship. They've always had a rocky relationship, but Sheena was in Schwartz and Katie's wedding. And to me, if I'm Katie and I'm finding this out about a bridesmaid,
No.
girl, I'm going to punch you in the throat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
No.
And I will say Katie actually handled it very well.
I thought she did too. I think anybody that is in that situation, it's obviously weird because now they're not together. So
I would still
like
be
what
livid though.
yes. Oh, yeah. No, I'm
It's
petty as
just
fuck.
like,
There's no way
and
I wouldn't be.
I think it may have been Katie who said like it's mostly because it's by omission too. It's like a lie by omission. So it's like
Yeah.
what else are you just admitting? Like that's almost worse than a blatant lie. I don't know. They're both bad,
Yeah.
but it's just it really raises the question of like can I ever trust you again? Like what
Mhm.
else would you just omit to not upset me?
Right. What other things can you lie about if you can lie about something like that so easily?
Right. And if I don't have like the exact right question to ask you,
Mhm.
I'll just never find it out. I don't know. That's something about that just irks me the wrong way.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
And then Sheena, like, got really weird. And first of all of them ended up taking part in this, and it was just kind of a gross moment. But
Yeah.
Sheena was really kind of leading the parade at first of the mean girlness to Joe
Yeah.
with the
The
hat.
hat thing, that was so strange to me. Don't touch me.
Yeah. It
Don't touch
was
me. And she it was almost like she knew she was being mean and she was
yeah.
doing it on purpose because
Yes, to, like, show loyalty or something, and it's like, "This is the way you're doing that?"
yeah, you wanna show loyalty, but we just found out that you're not loyal, like
And this is the way you're gonna do it by being a mean girl instead of just, like, maybe not befriending the guy who, like, totally fucked your friend over?
yeah. I do agree with you that everyone wound up chiming in on the "Let's bash Joe"
It was gross.
conversation, all the women, and it was really gross. I don't There's obviously some stuff we don't know. Maybe
Mhm,
Joe is not a great person, but she didn't deserve to be treated that way by the group.
mhm.
Um,
No one does, yeah,
it
that
was
it
really hard to watch that.
yes, and then is she okay too? It seemed like she was, like, having, like, a bit of a mental breakdown, like, she seemed
Yeah.
unwell, and it's
Mhm.
just sad that it was the result of something that very easily could have been avoided by them just not being a group of dicks right there.
Yeah. Yeah, they all kind of chimed in. Even Allie, which I was kind of
Yes.
surprised because they had shown her showing kindness to Joe and getting together
Yes.
with her to do her reading or
Mhm.
whatever. And I think it's definitely peer pressure.
Yes, you could tell Allie even, like, looked uncomfortable, and then I think she did say something about, like, "Well, I'm gonna keep getting to know her," or something, I can't remember.
She did say, I want her to feel welcome.
Yes, that was it, yeah, so,
Hmm.
like, she at least said something but yeah, she was also mean girling for a minute there too, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, like it's just one of those gross things you see in society where, like, one person is, like, jumping on board, and then the second person jumps on board, and then everyone's doing it, and it's like, no one stopped to think, like, Are we doing the right thing here?"
Yeah. Yeah. There's just nothing respectable about a group of 5, 6 women ganging up on another woman, regardless of what the situation is. Like,
Mhm,
we just don't need to do that. If you don't like someone, you can do that quietly.
mhm.
You don't have to bash them. I
Yes.
just it really did not sit well with me.
Yes, I did not like that at all.
I think part of the reason Sheena was being so ugly is because she was drinking, and she
Yes.
thus far in the season I think has been sober, and she announced it to Katie like, "Oh, I'm drinking. You better enjoy it." And Katie was like, "We're about to have words, babe. I'm not
Yes.
enjoying any of this."
Yeah, she
Um
was gearing up.
yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Maybe don't drink if that's how you're going to act.
I don't remember this, but I wrote on here, Sheena announcing she's drinking and then cackling.
I wrote
So
that.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, oh,
Yeah, cause she did, she was like, "I'm drinking tonight." It's like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay." She, like, maniacally laughed, like
It was like a freaky foreshadow for sure, like, seeing her say that. Yeah. Oh, Tom got brave.
oh my gosh, approaching Ariana.
He walked right into the lion's den.
He did, I'll give it to him, that was something. That was something. She was like, "We are not engaging."
I know, she's like, "Does anyone hear it's like a buzzing in my ear. Does
I
anyone
just
hear that?"
yeah, can we get a fly swatter maybe? Um,
Oh, of course, when Katie does confront Sheena, just what we always classic Sheena, deflect. Oh, deflect. Oh,
deflect.
deflect. Just like she can never take accountability. And like this is a like girl, you messed up. And
Mhm.
again, she was drinking, so she's probably like not in the best mind to make the right decision with this
Right. It's
you
not
know,
a
being
great time for
approached
her to
with
have this
something.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but girl, like you done messed up, and that is you cannot argue with that.
This is
There's
when
nothing to argue.
you just say, I'm sorry."
Yeah. And honestly, it was so long ago. Like, Katie might even forgive that, if you're just like, hey, I'm sorry I messed up. Instead, she's like giving these weird excuses, like why she did it. And it's like, shh, like,
Yeah, I
how am
don't
I
care.
supposed to trust you if you can't just say that was really messed up? It would never happen again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We weren't even friends, something. We weren't even friends. That's probably not the thing to say, but
I didn't even like you. Well, and I think everyone in this group is also just kind of on high alert because of Scandival. A- Ariana and Tom were together for 10 years. Like, these people have a lot of history with each other. And I think finding something like this out, even though they're not together now, I think it's really fucked up.
yeah.
And like the way it was presented was like, oh yeah, we joke about it from time to time. Of course, leave it to Schwartz to just absolutely tell somebody in the worst possible
Yeah.
way.
Whole
There's
thing
just
was handled for
messy.
the only people who handled this correctly was Lala and Katie.
Yeah. I was really glad that Lala went to Katie
Me too.
first, and that it, like she said, that she didn't give Sheena time to come up with a way to make it sound pretty, and that she had to be put on the spot about it because everybody knows she's full of shit. When she deflected, Katie knew that.
Mhm.
Um, and if she had been given time to come up with a story, then it would have been an entirely different situation. So I do
Yeah.
think it was respectable on Lala's part to just be like, hey, you should know this.
It's just the right thing to do too. Like, if you're stuck between like two friends, I feel like you just have to do like what you feel is right
Yeah.
in that moment. And I feel like it was right to go to the person who would be the most affected first.
I think the divide that is currently happening in the group is honestly so strange considering Lala's perspective about Randall when things with them went down. She was not cool with Schwartz for the longest time
Oh,
because he would still hang out
that's
with
true.
Randall. And there are still clips of her saying, like, anybody that's friends with my ex, I would cut them off.
Hmm. I think too, though, that was only during their custody battle.
That's true. I
So
think it
that,
is slightly different
hmm,
because they have a kid. But it's very clear that there's a divide forming, and there's Tom sympathizers and not Tom sympathizers. And it's just interesting.
hmm, I am kind of like, I don't really want to be a part of the viewing experience of Tom's health journey any longer. After the whole cold plunge thing, it
Hmm.
was
That was a
hard
lot.
to watch.
Hmm.
And now they're throwing this like air orgasm at me
Uh-huh.
on
It to me it felt like an exorcism. I thought I saw a couple demons get extracted and then go back in. They were like, "Nah, we're staying."
he just looked like he was like getting off to me, and I honestly was just like disturbed and grossed out. Like, I don't want to be a part of seeing that. Like, it
Mm-mm.
literally looked like that's what was going on. And
We
I
didn't
think he
ask for that.
and then he said after it's like an orgasm. So I'm like, "Ew, did you like literally just I don't know. I don't want to
He's
see it."
so creepy. Um Also almost as creepy, Lala's outfit to that excursion.
Oh, I don't
Really,
remember.
it was a giant sweatshirt that was camo, and
Oh, I can.
then she had like 6-inch heels on.
Yes, I do remember like seeing the heels and being like, "Oh, with that?"
Like, it doesn't surprise me that she wore heels. It doesn't surprise me
Yeah,
that she wore a giant sweatshirt. But together?
right. It's very Lala though.
Yeah. I was just like very distracted by that.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta switch back over here.
Um, so the news of Schwartz and Sheena's makeout slowly makes it through the group. And why Brock, why Sheena made Brock tell the group what was
W-
going on. I thought that was an odd choice.
It was so weird. So like Schwartz had poor delivery to Lala. Lala had great delivery to Katie. Katie had great delivery to Sheena.
Yeah.
Wait, did Katie and Sheena talk about this before or after he said it to the whole group? They talked about it
Before.
before. Yeah. And then, yeah, Sheena just, like, tells Brock to tell the entire group.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then Katie's like, now, why would you? It's like putting her on the spot in front of everyone. She was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A friend does not do that.
No, it was really weird.
That is,
Also, Sheena having everybody's locations.
what is up with that?
Yeah.
She might have my location for all I know. Jesus Christ. 56 people's location?
How does she ask that? Like, hey, will you share your, like, what is, it's like,
Yeah, it's like, do you exchange
does it
locations
happen?
with everyone whose phone number you acquire?
Yeah,
Like,
apparently.
that is so weird to me.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk this episode about, like, well, a couple episodes now about, like, can Ariana, is she actually staying because of, like, financial reasons, trying to get all her ducks in a row and stuff? Or is she, like, saying that to people but really staying out of spite? Or, like, some kind of attachment issue or something? I don't know.
I do think it's highly spite driven.
I think so too at this point. I think she's, like, trying to drag it out just
Which I
because she
get.
doesn't.
I get feeling like that.
And she doesn't want to say it because it's
No,
not
you can't say that.
the most healthy look. But
She's not going to say that on national television.
right.
I do think that the financial situation probably is complicated, and people probably do expect, because she's on TV, that she has all this money. But I doubt, like you heard Sheena talking about during COVID, she had no money. I don't think these people are the picture of
Right.
planning for their future.
And she's got a lot of, like, brand deals and stuff, but I think these are all still so fresh. Like, who knows if she's ever, like, even gotten paid for a lot of them yet or not. I don't know how those things work. But yeah, I could see the financial thing being some of it. I don't think it's all of it.
I think it is a healthy dose of both, but I think it's more spite than anything else.
I agree. The Valley.
I still have not been able to bring myself to watch it.
It's okay. I like it. I will say it's nice seeing, like, Kristen and Brittany, and I can't even remember any of the names of the new people. So they haven't left much of an impression yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the part that stuck out the most is Kristen's boyfriend came on the show this time, the one that she's gonna have a baby with, and in the last episode, the first one, Kristen, like, gave this guy Jesse a nipple twister because he was just being obnoxious, and he went back, he's married, and twisted Kristen's nipple. And then Kristen, like, told her boyfriend about it, and she was actually, it seemed like she was trying to deliver the news in a way that, like, he would get the least upset, but you could see his face, like, instantly when she told him, just, like, change, and he was very upset.
That is weird.
Very weird. Yeah, you
First
don't
of
grab
all,
a
weird
woman's
that she
nipple.
initiated it in the first place. I gotta say, that's some grade A Kristen bullshit.
It's weird, yeah, but, like, I would never, if I nipple twisted a guy, I would never expect that he was gonna nipple twist me.
No, absolutely
like, my nipples
not.
are off. Like, mine aren't the same as yours. You cannot.
It's just weird. They both have partners. Like, don't touch people that aren't yours.
Yeah, I will say I don't think she meant it in a flirty way. I think she was really trying to, like, push him away. Like, if you saw the scene, but yeah, it was just weird, and that was, like, the big drama point of this episode. So this week, we curated another list. The list of excuses. Let's see. So my first one, this one was fun coming up with. This first one I have to credit to my coworker. Yeah.
I hadn't read that one yet.
And the excuse is I had a Florida education. And I think this can be applicable to many things. Like anytime
Mhm.
someone tries to correct your grammar, I went to school in Florida. What can you expect?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That's incredible.
when we can't say our words properly, like I went to school in Florida.
Yeah,
Sorry. Like I
that's
don't
it.
you can't judge me for that. It's the education I was given.
Mhm. It's education. It's the system's fault.
It is. That could
That's a good excuse too.
yes. Actually, yeah, and
That's
also
not on the list, but
applicable. Yeah,
mhm.
I like this coming up with them on the fly.
Oh yeah.
Most like problems in the world, I feel like we can just kind of attribute all those up to men because we as women have never really had the reins. You know, we've never really had control over big decisions and stuff. So next
Fair.
time your man is complaining to you or something, you know, it's just that's not my fault. That's on you, honey.
I love the tone in which you delivered that. Like, that's not mine. Mm-mm. No, thank you. No, thank you.
This next one I love.
This one, I love to tell people about this
Mhm.
because it is ridiculous. So, when we were in our early 20s, my husband worked at Publix and he had a coworker who was notorious for calling out with the most ridiculous excuses. And my favorite one, and the only one that I actually remember, is my asshole is bleeding. This man called up the Publix manager and was like, "Hey, I can't come to my shift today because my asshole is bleeding." And those are the words he used.
It's
My asshole's bleeding,
unforgettable.
man. Like, that's
Unforgettable, honestly.
incredible.
And you cannot argue that one, which is the beauty of it. Like we all
It's
know,
genius
yeah,
because you cannot force someone to come to work when their asshole's bleeding.
right. Or to like show you their asshole. So like
You can't get proof of that. You can't.
right. That is inappropriate. So really it's genius if you ask me.
It's so good. I can never use it though because I always tell people it's, one of the first 5 things you learn from me. You ever heard this excuse?
So this is one that I've really loved as being a new parent is I like go to a lot of concerts. I do a lot of like late night hangout things, which
Mhm.
can be a lot of fun, but it's kind of like working out. It's almost like you kind of have to make yourself do it and then you appreciate it later. But like getting yourself out there and making yourself do it is always you kind of have to work yourself up to that.
Yeah.
For me at least. I don't really like to leave the house after 7. Now, I have the best excuse in the world to not leave the house after 7. The baby has to go to sleep. And also, anytime I don't want to do anything during the day, that sorry, that's when the baby's napping.
It's the perfect excuse.
It's great. You can't argue that either.
Mm-mm.
You don't know my baby's nap schedule. Oh, last week it was at 1. Well, this week it's at
We're
3.
on a different schedule. He's a baby.
Yeah. He's a baby.
They don't be following a schedule.
Yeah. Sorry,
on.
can't make it.
Can't do it.
I really like this. Yeah, for holidays, I say my couch isn't big enough because really you can
I
only
don't have enough seating.
there's only 2 seats. Like, can you fit 3 people per seat? Yeah.
Right. And do you want to all sit next to each other like
No.
this? No.
Yeah. No. There's
So you
only
can't
2
come here.
seats. Yeah. Sorry, not enough space.
That was a good list. That was a clever list.
Thanks.
Write us and let us know what list we should do next because we're running out of lists.
We need more
we
lists.
like them.
Yeah.
We do like a list.
Yes.
It's always funny. You always add more. I only added that my asshole is bleeding. I felt like that carried it.
It
for
did,
mine.
yeah.
Like for what I was like, I can just do one because this one is good.
That's a great one. Yeah.
But Tori always adds way more pizzazz than I do.
Just my brain
put that
working
out there.
at 1,000 miles a minute.
Should be
Most
Before
minutes.
we get to story time, I need your help choosing my next book.
Yes. Okay.
So I brought them with me because I know they say not to judge a book by its cover,
I
but
was
I'm
about to say, I
absolutely going
cannot
to.
wait to judge it by its cover.
So one of them I've had on my bookshelf for probably 6 months. Definitely 6 months. The other one I bought on a whim. So if that doesn't describe me, I don't know what will. But anyway. Okay, so I'm going to show you the cover and then we can read like the synopsis or whatever and then we'll pick one. So
All
the
right,
first
I'm
one
excited.
is called Stone Blind.
Okay, we got
It's got
Medusa.
Medusa on it. I will say I really like stories that tie into mythology. I haven't read that many fantasy series that are like that, but the ones I have I do really like. So that's why this one intrigued me. So I'll read you the synopsis. So the only mortal in a family of gods, Medusa is the youngest of the Gorgon sisters. Unlike her siblings, Medusa grows older, experiences change, feels weakness. Her mortal lifespan gives her an urgency that her family will never know. When the sea god Poseidon assaults Medusa in Athena's temple, the goddess is enraged. Furious at the violation of her sacred space, Athena takes revenge on the young woman. Punished for Poseidon's actions, Medusa is forever transformed. Writhing snakes replace her hair, and her gaze will turn any living creature into stone. Cursed with the power to destroy all she loves with one look, Medusa condemns herself to a life of solitude until Perseus embarks upon a fateful quest to fetch the head of a Gorgon. In Stone Blind, Natalie Haynes upends our understanding of this legendary myth, bringing empathy and nuance to one of the earliest stories in which a woman injured by a powerful man is blamed, punished, and monstered for the assault. So it's basically just fuck men, and we always have to deal with like the repercussions. Like he fucked up, but she's the one who was punished.
It's so fucking sad.
I know.
That's really heavy.
It's really heavy. So
my
I think
jaw
that's
had
why I
like
haven't.
dropped. Like as you're reading some of that, I'm just like,
It's intense. But I think I'm assuming in the end Medusa's gonna fuck everybody up. So
oh,
it's
she
kind of
had
like
better.
she better be fucking people up. So that one is definitely intense. But I think it's gonna be really good. I've never read anything from this author. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
What's
that
our
one.
okay?
This one I just saw when I was in Walmart and I was like, I like that cover.
This is our
That looks
whimsy
cool.
one. Okay.
This is yes. So it's
we
called
got a moth.
Heartless Hunter.
Okay.
Also, never read anything by this author. Oh, it's okay. It's enemies to lovers, which is fine. I don't mind enemies to lovers. I just feel like everything is enemies to lovers.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that's where like people start out as enemies and become lovers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It is a very popular genre of books right now.
Okay.
Enemies to lovers. So ACOTAR is enemies to lovers. I guess I don't know if Crescent City is enemies to lovers. They're not enemies in the beginning, but they're not exactly friends either. Yeah. Okay, so this one's definitely got romance in it, which I don't know if I'm in the mood for that, but we'll see. I'm going to struggle through reading this because of the name. The name of the character is Rune. But it's a woman. And the last one is.
Question is it Rune or Run?
Don't say it. I don't know why pronunciation is so hard for me. Okay. On the night Rune's life changed forever, blood ran on the streets. Now, in the aftermath of a devastating revolution, witches have been diminished from powerful rulers to outcasts, ruthlessly hunted due to their waning magic, and Rune must hide what she is. Spending her days pretending to be nothing more than a vapid young socialite, Rune spends her nights as the Crimson Moth, a witch vigilante who rescues her kind from being purged. When a rescue goes wrong, she decides to throw the witch hunters off her scent and gain the intel she desperately needs by courting the handsome Gideon Sharp. He's a notorious and unforgiving witch hunter loyal to the revolution, and too late, Rune realizes she might be falling for him. I feel like this is going to annoy me. Gideon loathes the decadence and superficiality Rune represents, but when he learns the Crimson Moth has been using Rune's merchant ships to smuggle renegade witches out of the Republic, he inserts himself into her social circles by pretending to court her. He soon realizes that beneath her beauty and shallow facade is someone fiercely intelligent and tender who feels like his perfect match. My toxic trait is I only read the first paragraph and looked at the cover. And now I have read the whole synopsis and I don't want to read this.
No, I cannot get on board with this one.
I think I'm going to return this, actually. I don't normally do that.
I like the whole, like, witchy undercover thing.
Yes,
but
like,
then
it's
too romance heavy.
Too much
predictable romance too. So Stone Medusa
so we're gonna
gets assaulted. Medusa gets assaulted.
Medusa gets assaulted.
Is what we're going
That's what we're
with.
going with, guys. Okay, so stay tuned. See how that journey goes. I'm gonna be back with 2 more books next week. Like, I can't read either of these. This has got to go. We're burning.
We're not here for that. No.
I should have read the whole thing in the store.
It was a nice cover.
It's a really pretty cover. But I honestly don't love hardback books anyway. So it's fine.
I like them for sitting on my shelf. I don't like them for reading.
I don't even like them sitting on the shelf. I prefer the paperbacks. I think they're more interesting.
Story time. Okay. So, I was thinking these might be good stories for story time because when we started our Out of Touch PCast TikTok, is that what it's called? No, Out of Touch Moments TikTok. We had initially started it as like reviewing dating profiles. For a short amount of time. They're so cringy. Please do not go and watch those videos. So I thought maybe sharing a couple of my Tinder dating stories.
That's why we're so good at judging the profiles.
Yes.
From Tori's time on Tinder.
Yes, we have lived it. And this is when I was living with you.
I was gonna say, like, these do kind of overlap.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Tinder did that story time thing where?
Yes.
And it was in parts, and I was like, I don't have Tinder. Like, and so you screen
that was
recorded
fun.
It was interesting. I was like, what's gonna happen?
Yes.
These characters.
And I judged like the hell out of people based on their answers because it would like show you other people's answers and you would match like through the Tinder story. Man, That's was a great time.
That was very interactive, very smart move on Tinder's part.
I was really invested in this story.
Well, and I forgot that you could see what people chose because I forgot that it was interactive where you could make a choice and that you could see other people's choice. Yeah.
So like what we're talking about is like Tinder would have these stories and you could go through it's like the world is ending and like you got in a fight with your friend and a bomb goes off near you guys. Do you grab your friend and run with them or do you run away and leave your friend behind? And like you would have to make these choices and then you could see on people's dating profiles for like the next week as you're like scrolling what their answers were to it.
Yeah.
So you could see someone and like leaves their friend.
There were people updating their like bios like strong Dave sympathizer or something like that. Like it was so interesting.
That was fun, man. Bring that back, Tinder.
Yeah.
So we have the guy we call Hey Beautiful, is how he's known in my friend group. Yes. This guy was one of the first like guys I had matched with on Tinder. He wasn't really like physically my type, but I also like hadn't dated in so long that I was like, I don't really know what my type is anymore. Like if someone seems nice, like I'm open to it.
Yeah.
So he was nice. I will give him that.
That was kind of the problem.
Yeah, he became too nice. And I don't mean that in like a toxic, like, oh, I can't handle someone who's good and nice to me type of way. I mean, like it was almost like he really didn't know how to interact.
Right.
And
it was overkill every single time.
and it also felt empty. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like he was just saying these things because
That's what he thought he
he
was supposed to say.
yes. And so anyways, he would text me every morning and every afternoon and every brunch and every dinner and every night. And he would always start the conversation with, "Hey, beautiful, how's it going?" And, you know, when you're updating, Amber's gagging on video over here. When you're updating someone on your life like 5 times throughout the day, sometimes you're just like, I don't have anything since your last check-in. Like, it's been an hour and a half, dude.
I still don't like when you call me beautiful, though.
So
That's the update.
eventually I had to tell him, "Hey, like, I really appreciate you, like, calling me beautiful, and y- I, I agree with you. I like that you think that. Like, that's very nice. You
I
don't,
agree with you. I like that. Yes.
yeah, you don't have to tell me that I had to say, you don't like need to say it, all 5 times a day."
I'm
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you are not the type of woman who gives off the vibe that she needs. You're not needy. You're strong and you're independent. You always have been. I think that's something people pick up about you. So it felt like he just thinks women are just these insecure little beings that need constant reassurance that they're beautiful. Um, Maybe you take that and turn that on yourself, friend. Like, maybe keep that to you.
I do think it was projection.
Mhm.
But yeah, I had to get to the point where I was like, "Hey man, like, you don't have to tell me, like, I'm very confident in myself. I believe you. I agree. Like, I am beautiful. I have no problem like finding that in myself and like knowing that. Like, I it got to the point where it felt weird that that was like 50% of the things he was saying to me.
Mhm.
And so then it got really weird because now I've asked him, "Hey, please don't do that anymore." And he said, "Okay." And then next morning, there it is, "Hey, beautiful," in text, right? So I don't answer it because I'm like, I already told you I don't like this anymore.
Mhm.
And I would post a Snapchat, like not even to him. I would put out like on my Snapchat
Story.
story response, "Hey, beautiful." Like, this is getting
It's
freaky.
to the point where Tori can't even hear the word beautiful anymore.
I
It
was
doesn't even
triggered.
mean beautiful anymore.
I was triggered for some time. Yeah, it was just a lot. And then, oh, and how that one ended was interesting. So let's say his name is Stan. So Stan was in marching band at a school in my state. Let's just call it SC. I don't know. So he went to SC and he was in marching band. So I'm still on Tinder. Like, I haven't committed to this guy. It's been like a week and a half, I think, that we've been texting.
Mhm.
Um, and I saw someone else named Stan in the marching band at SC as well. And it obviously wasn't the Stan that I knew, but it was someone
Yeah.
with the same name in the same marching band. So I sent him a screenshot of like the Tinder profile that came up.
I
And
forgot about this until
yes,
right now.
yes. So and this is at this point, like, I'm just kind of trying to see if we can have any fun, lighthearted conversations anymore. Because literally every conversation, he'd be like, "Hey, beautiful, what's up?" And I'd be like, "Oh, not that much. I went to school today." And I'd be like, "What's up with you?" He'd be like, "I went to work." Okay. And I would try to like joke here and there, and like the jokes would never lead to any other conversation. It was literally like checking in. We're both okay. Hey, beautiful, in 2 hours.
Yeah.
That was the conversation.
We're
So
on a rinse repeat.
yeah, so I'm trying to, like, throw things out that we can, like, kind of build other conversation off of, or, like, just joke around, like,
Yeah.
have any, like, organic fun. So I send him this screenshot. I thought it was funny, and it would, like, spark a funny conversation. Maybe that's my bad. So I sent him this screenshot, and he didn't say anything for a little while, which is odd for him.
Mhm.
And
He wasn't like, "Oh, hey, beautiful."
no, and then he comes back to me, like, a couple hours later, and he's like, "Hey, I really don't appreciate, like, knowing that you're still scrolling through Tinder after we had never even met in person, by the way." And he's like, "After we've already met." And I'm like, "Mm, but we haven't." And, yeah, so at that point, it felt like we were not on the same page. So I just kind of let him know that, hey, I'm not feeling this anymore, and we went our separate ways. But to this day, every once in a while, I shouldn't say to this day, the last time was probably like a year ago. Um but it's like once a year or so I'll get like a hey beautiful response from a
From,
Snap
like, a
story.
story.
Yeah. And I think I've actually I think I took him off of my friends list now, so I don't think I'll be getting those anymore. But
Yeah, that's not how do you keep actively doing the same thing that somebody asked you not to do? Like, "Hey,
it's
I don't like this." It's not even, like, a neutral thing. It's, "I
yeah.
specifically don't like this,"
And I
and you
think
keep doing it.
it had gotten to the point where it was like I had told him like, "Hey, you're doing it again, like, I don't like, 2 or 3 times I told him, "Hey, please stop
Yeah.
this." For months and years even later, he would still do it. It was so
So
weird. Like, is
strange.
this, like, a control thing? And, like, I would open it, and then I would forget about it, and it wouldn't happen again for months. So, like, I probably should've just, like, blocked him or something earlier.
Yeah.
It never felt malicious or anything, but, yeah, that was just an odd experience with
It's
Mr.
not
Hey Beautiful.
malicious, but it is weaponized incompetency.
Yeah, or, like, almost controlling or manipulative, I don't know, something about it feels off and weird, and I didn't like it. Um, and then there was another guy, we'll call him Derek.
Yeah.
Derek and I matched, so my Tinder experience was during the tail end of, like, COVID.
Mhm.
So, like, people were just starting to, like, get out and do stuff, but, like, I still wasn't meeting up with people unless, like, we had already been talking for, like, weeks because it's COVID, not worth the risk. Honestly, I don't wanna meet people I haven't been talking to for weeks anyways, but,
Yeah.
so this tail end of COVID, we didn't wanna go out, so we did this Netflix party thing where, you can
I remember
both
that. Mhm.
yeah, watch a movie together, and there's, like, a little chat thing, so, like, you can sync it up to make sure you guys are both, like, watching the same exact part at the same exact time. So we did that for our first date, and right before we were going into the date, I had to send him a link, um, through Tinder to so that he could join the Netflix party. And apparently you're not allowed to send links through Tinder. I never knew this because I'm not, like, soliciting people for anything on Tinder, so this was news to me. But he accepted the link, and he gets, like, in the Netflix party chat with me, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think you're supposed to send a link. I hope your account doesn't get banned or something." And I, like, went and checked it, and it was still up, and I'm like, "No, it's fine." I didn't think much of it. And then he's, like, texting me in the little chat, and he's like, "I'm gonna go make some popcorn." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. I'll wait." And I just started, like, fiddling around on my guitar while I was waiting for him to go make the popcorn and come back. Um, and I was fiddling around maybe, like, 5 minutes, and then I look over, and I realized he had said that he was back, like, I don't know, a minute and a half before. So I responded, and I was like, "Sorry, I was fiddling around on my guitar, like, are you ready to watch this?" And I remember he said something, like, kinda offhanded. He was like, "Oh, weird timing for that," or something like that. I remember that being, like, odd, like, "What? I was waiting on you, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry I was, like, a minute and a half, like, later than you." Was that torturous for you to sit there and wait there for that minute?
Yeah.
And it felt weird. Um, so I thought that was kinda odd, but then we watched the movie, it was fine, nothing, like, that stood out as, like, "Oh my god, I love this guy."
Mhm.
But it was a fine date, and then, we went our separate ways. I think it was, like, a day or 2 later, I tried to get back on Tinder, and I couldn't get on. So, this was during a time when I was working, like, 6 days in a row, with the organization I was working with, so I just didn't have the energy to, like, figure out what the heck was going on with my Tinder. I figured it was what he was talking about with me sending the link, but
Mhm.
I was kinda at a point where I was like, "I'm not talking seriously to any of these people, like, no one really
Not
stands
in a
out to
rush to
me."
get it fixed.
Yeah, so I'll
Yeah.
fix it when I can get to it, when I'm less busy. So I think it was, like, a week or 2 later, I get a phone call from one of my, like, coworkers, and so at this point in my career with this organization, I was, just a research tech. So I had never, like, actually been into the office because I would just go to the office, I'd pick up the truck and head out. I never had keys to the office. I didn't actually work in the office. I just worked out in the field.
Mhm.
So I get a call that someone had called the office for me named Derek. And the name Derek did not even stand out to me because I had forgotten about this Derek. Like, again, nothing significant about this date. Derek was in my rearview mirror, you know? So, and they're like, someone named Derek called the office for you. I'm like, that's so weird. And I'm like getting kind of amped up. I'm like, who is calling the office for
I
me?
remember how nervous you were, like,
Y-
"What is
Yeah,
this?"
I'm like, is this like some bill collector to like some bill I don't know that I owe? Or like, I don't know. This is so weird. Like,
Yeah.
I've never even, I technically like am not even like a salary employee at this place. I've never even been in the office. Like, who is calling the office? It's so weird. Um, so he gave me the phone number. The first time I tried to call the number, it like I think I typed in a wrong number and it said like this phone number doesn't exist. So then I'm like, this is really weird. So I
Oh
tried
my
again
god.
and it actually rang that time. And someone answers and I'm like, hello, who is this? And the person's like, this is Derek. And I'm like, who's Derek? Who is this? Someone, and I'm like pissed. I'm pissed. I'm like,
Who's
"Someone just called."
Derek?
I'm like, "This is Victoria. Someone just called my job. Who is this?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, remember like we met on Tinder. We had like the Netflix date." And he's like
Yeah.
he's like, I hope this isn't like, too out there for me to have like called your job I and so I don't know. I feel like this is something that like maybe could have been cute, like, had we, like, fostered a really nice, like,
Yes.
connection
If
before
it
all of this
wasn't
happening.
so fresh.
Right. And yeah, if we both felt like which maybe, I don't know, maybe he did, and I do kind of feel bad about that. But, like, it's weird to be calling people's professional establishments, and the other kinda weird part about it is I never told him where I worked.
Right.
He
He knew
Googled.
what type of work you were in, right?
Yes, and
He
he
knew you were
Googled
in, yeah.
the city I lived in with the type of work, and I guess that's one of the first things that comes up, and he just started
Or
calling
how many
places.
places did he call, you
Well,
know?
yeah, who knows? I mean, in my browser, it was one of the first things that came up, but still, yeah, who knows how many people he called. They didn't give him an answer right
Oh,
away either.
Derek.
So, yeah, that just felt really weird to me, and I had to, I remember when I was on the phone with him, I was just, like, in shock once I realized who it was, and he's like, "I hope this isn't weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like, it is kinda weird, honestly."
Well, it's
Um
also weird because it's like you hadn't worked with your current job for very long,
Right.
and you're having to go back and explain to them what just happened.
That someone I met
Like,
on Tinder just called the office for me, like
yeah, that's a little odd to have to explain when you've been with them for years. So I feel like if something like that were to happen, it would be hilarious to them. But I'm sure
Yes,
they were
and it was
even like,
hilarious then. They did find it hilarious, but, like, still, it's not really the aesthetic I was going for to have, like,
right,
random guys calling the office for me because we went on a cyber date,
a Netflix party date.
like so, I don't know, like, the guy, I don't think he meant anything wrong by it, but it's just like, y'all gotta be careful about boundaries out here
Hmm.
in a Tinder world, like, you can't just be.
Also, what would their reaction be if the role was reversed?
Right.
Then you would be crazy. You would be
Yeah.
insane. This
Mhm.
psychotic girl called my job, who I never have talked to in
Yes.
person. This person who I haven't even given my phone number to yet because we just met on a dating
Yes.
app.
Yes. And it was, like, funny that I guess lost, like, access to Tinder, like, right after the date.
Was really
So, like
you're like, "No, it's fine. I just whatever."
yeah. And honestly, so after that experience, I think I waited, like, a month or 2 before, like, figuring out what was going on with my Tinder and reactivating it
You're like, "No, I
'cause
nobody needs this kinda
I
negativity."
yeah, I had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, I think after that, so that's a couple of the Tinder stories I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sure I might have more later
Yeah. Those are
down
good.
the line.
Those are
Yeah.
solid stories.
It's wild out there, I will
It
say. Oh,
it really is.
I guess I have one more Tinder story. I did meet my husband
I was gonna
eventually.
say, I thought you guys met on Tinder, but I couldn't
Mhm.
remember.
I did meet him eventually on Tinder. So there is, you just have to kinda trial and error it for a year or 2.
Yeah, what's the success rate? How many, like, total,
Oh god.
you know, like 10%, 25%? What's the success rate?
5%, I would say. Like, it's low. It's low.
Yeah, it's not high.
No.
No.
I did have some, like, good experiences too.
I feel like you
Um
made a couple friends too.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I would recommend it. It's a wild ride, I will say that. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to be prepared to, not find what you're looking for and just kinda be along for the
Yeah,
ride.
just the expectations should be low,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you'll be alright.
You can have high expectations, just kind of expect them not to meet them for most of the time.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Um, but yeah, I think that's about it for today.
If you've listened this far, you're a real one.
You have made it through the hot mess.
That's really the only way to end the Hot Mess Express episode is by just being a hot mess and not being able to articulate it.
Lord.
Um, it's fine. We're fine here. We are probably going to drink more coffee. Actually, I know Tori will drink more coffee because she apparently drinks coffee at 5 p.m. My body could never. Um,
I was up late. Mm. It did the job.
it did. It did
Mhm.
the job. It did the thing. That's great. Well, thanks for kicking it with us.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Follow us. Follow us on Instagram at Out of Touch PCast, the letter P cast. Sorry, it always takes me a second to remember which ones are called what. Follow us on TikTok at Out of Touch Moments. You can email us, please email us. Go ahead and send us an email.
Would love to get an email.
At outoftouchcast@gmail.com.
Boom.
Bye.